you get it? Is it on?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Aaron and Ed.
I like how you put my name first.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, did it just make you feel special?
I like to feel special. Everybody's a certain kind of special. The world is all about finding your special and embracing it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be who you are. And who are you today, Aaron?
Wow, this is like a Dr. Phil moment. Like, I feel like we got to really break this down.
I have a tie on, so Dr.
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah, you got fancy
I'm the
today.
doctor.
And I put on a collared shirt because
You
I
got
knew
fancy.
I knew you were gonna come in fancy today.
So
I knew it. I felt it. So I was like, okay, how fancy can I get? I'm like, listen, not that fancy. Okay, I don't have that many options when it comes to. I am not the over the top fancy guy. I'm the epitome of what you see is what you get.
Right.
Like, I get it. Sometimes I like hats. I like to wear a lot of hats. So I get it. There's a
Like
time and place for
metaphorical
hats.
or like hats?
No, literal hats. I'm not sure metaphorically I can wear that many hats. I'm more of literal. I like hats, baseball player, so I get to wear a shirt that I do like them all to match though. I'm not a very OCD guy, but I like if I put on a hat, I feel like it can't be too much like writing to mix with like writing on your shirt. It almost has to be like a hat with like a plain shirt, and then like it's all got to kind of flow. And I'm not I'm not a fashionista, as you can tell by most things I wear. But
hold on, this coming from the guy that designed the logo and uniforms for the Toucans.
Oh, dude, that was gangster.
Come on.
That was pretty fire. They came out.
That's got a lot going on.
That does have a lot going on. But that does speak to, we were talking about like the OCD factor, and there are some times where, like, whether it's work stuff or something, I'm like, I get so like OCD or something that I got to handle, and I get frustrated because it's like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night and I can't do anything about it. So like those are the nights that I actually go to bed early, because I'm just like, I just need to go to bed so I can get out. The faster I go to bed, it's like Christmas. Faster you go to bed, faster you get to wake back up to open presents. And that's how I get sometimes. Like, faster I go to bed, faster I get to wake up, and I can start handling this thing.
Oh, wow.
But most of the things, like some of them are very important. Some of them are like, do you have that? That was going to be my question to you. Like, when you think about like the relevant or like the things you stress over in your head compared to your spouse, your significant other, like Andy will be like, man, I've been thinking about this and I'm like frustrated. I'm like, that doesn't even crack my top 15, right? And then I'll be like later, I'm like, oh man, I'm thinking about like my baseball lineup this week, and it's like Wednesday. She's just like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, like that's where my head's at right now. I'm like, right. That's in my top 5. Like, oh, who do we got this weekend? Who we playing? What's our matchup like? Strategizing, things like that. And then it's funny. So do you guys have different things? Like where does your stress level, things you stress over, compared to Mercy's like, you're an idiot?
I would say most of the things that I think about. She would say I'm an idiot. Because I stress over weird. Like, I just stress over business stuff.
Yeah.
Right, because my kids are growing up. I also stress over, like, making... Like, I want to make sure that they're set, that they have their things. Mm-hmm. So, like, I stress over Brandon wanting to become a rancher.
Yeah.
Like, then everybody I talk to, hey, do you know anybody who has a ranch? Do you know anybody who owns a ranch? Do you have any connections to ranches? Because it's always trying to find that connection.
We got to reach out to best friends of the show, South Point. South Point, we need you to watch this, and we need you to reach out because we understand you have a huge ranching division at South Point, and we need to get Brandon into it.
There you go.
There we go. We just put it into the universe.
Yeah. I'm a big put into the universe guy.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody... So there's different takes on it, right? There's some people that say...
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy kind of guy.
Yeah, there's a lot... So there's a lot of people that say, never say what you're doing.
Top secret, like agent. Okay.
Never say, because then you have all the negative and all the eyes on you and everybody's trying... Right? And then other people say, well, you have to speak it into existence. And then I just started started yesterday doing something that I've done in the past several times. And it's always worked, right? So I've always been a very spiritual person.
Okay.
Very spiritual. And I've always Like, you know how when people have kids or when people go through problems in life, they're like, man, nobody gave us an instruction book on how to live life.
Sure.
People say it all the time.
Right.
They're wrong. We have an instruction manual on how to live life.
Is it like PDF, downloadable?
Yeah.
Like where
You
does somebody
get
email it to you?
You can
Like
get it
Amazon?
anywhere you want. It's called the Bible.
Oh, okay.
The Bible tells you how to do
Biblical today.
everything in your life.
Really?
So Brandon is very, our son Brandon is very spiritual. He reads the Bible every day. He prays 2-3 times a day.
Is there an audible version? I bet
Of the
there's
Bible?
an,
Yeah,
I bet there's an
of course there
audible
is.
version by now.
Of course there is. And then the show Chosen, amazing show
Really?
about Jesus Christ's life. That's a really good show.
Okay.
So, not to get too deep, but in the past I've always like, oh, you know what? Something's going on in my life. I want to figure out an answer.
Okay.
So I pray, and then I open the Bible and I just start reading.
You just randomly open it?
I randomly open it,
Okay.
and whatever page it gets me to, I start reading. So I did that yesterday. With some personal stuff was going on. I was like, you know what? I need guidance. So I prayed, and then I opened up the Bible. And with my luck, right, I haven't done this in probably 15 years. I open up the Bible, and there's 3 different chapters on the same opening. I'm like, great. Where do I start?
Did you get a sign from above on where to start?
So I started reading,
Okay.
and it's always a mystery.
Ooh,
And
the
as I
Bible is a
started,
mystery?
as I started reading, then I found the chapter and verse that applied to what I was going through.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. Okay, that gave me clarity. So
Really?
I swear to God. So then yesterday,
Do you think it gives you clarity, like when you're out doing something and you're looking for validation? You know, like when you're looking for validation, you can find it in most places. Just like, hey, I'm looking for a reason to
No, 'cause
eat
this was
out
a-
breakfast today. And then all of a sudden you hit a red light at a stop sign. You're like, oh, the green arrow turned. I should turn into McDonald's right there.
No, 'cause-
Or do you think like it was really...
so I'll give you an example, and I'll be completely transparent. So I tend to blow up fast. I have a really short fuse when things don't get done the way I expect them to get done. I just have a short fuse. I've always been like that. So yesterday when I prayed, I opened up the Bible, and it was 2 Chronicles 10:4 is where I finally landed on. But when I opened it up, it was 9, 10, and 11 were on the same page, on the same 2 pages. But when I landed on, I believe it was 10:4, and I started reading it, that's a verse where King Solomon is handing over his kingdom because he died, so his kingdom goes over to his son, and his son was told by somebody, hey, if you continue to rule the way your father did, with a strong hand and a lot of taxation and a lot of everything, people are going to follow you because of fear. You need to be kind and humble yourself so they can follow you because they want to follow you. So I was like,
Whoa.
exactly.
Whoa, bazinga.
I mean, that wasn't looking for justification. That was just, okay, how do I do it? And it's giving me an answer. It's like, okay, calm down. Just take a deep breath when you do stuff. Be nicer. And people will want to be doing things for you versus you getting upset and angry at people all the time. So I was like, okay, that was validation.
I mean, I don't, just for your record, I don't think you get angry at people all the time that much.
I
But
don't.
I do, you know, I mean, I
But
get
I have
the
a short fuse for things
right?
that happen.
Especially when they happen multiple times over.
Right, but
Right.
but that's so I was like, okay, so now you know what? Okay, perfect. So that's my understanding how I got to be. I'm gonna work on that. And then something happened yesterday, which we can't discuss till next week.
Dun dun dun.
We can't. And I told Mercy, we talked about it last night, like as a group, whatever. You called me 3 times last night and joked around about it. It was just the way you are, and I appreciate that.
Well, last night was one of those weird ones because, like,
You had to call me.
I typically don't call you like after we leave the office because I'm always like, hey, we talked about a lot during the day, you know, because we're always around
And
each
usually
other.
have a lot
it's
of
like,
busy schedule.
yeah, and like
yesterday
my
you
schedule's busy, and then I know we're gonna talk in the morning and
Right.
stuff. But last night there was 2 things that I'm just like, I had to get them out of my head, or else I would stew on them all night. Like that's one of those nights I'm just gonna go home, go straight to bed, so I can get up and go talk to Ed.
Right.
But I knew we did go through with softball practice, and
It was rough.
Not my greatest decision.
I told you.
You did. But yeah, then I was like, this is the last one. But that one was an update. But
No, but they were funny.
I know,
though. They were great. They actually made me laugh. It was amazing.
Was I made you laugh or my guest speaker made you laugh? My guest speaker in the car, your BFF.
Well, no, she just made my night. I mean, talking to Brooklyn was the best.
After you guys discussed the potential of the giraffe tattoo back on the table, she goes, we park at practice. She goes, Dad. She goes to do you have to work in the summer, like school or work? You know, like the kids get off for the summer. I'm like, yeah. Unfortunately, the bills keep coming in the summer. We gotta go to work. She goes, actually, that's gonna be good because I'm probably gonna need to come into the office with you and hang out with you and Dad. And she goes, I think I could sell some houses. I'm gonna get on those phone. She goes, I'm gonna get on the phone and I'm gonna talk to some people. I'm gonna tell them all the good stuff that we can do for them, and I'm probably gonna sell some houses this summer. I was like, there's not a doubt in my mind that you could sell some houses this summer. Like, I started thinking about, okay, I am,
we have a new ISA starting this summer.
I'm thinking about going through the real estate exam of Nevada, and now starting to work on some stuff for Arizona. I was like, I know there's a legal age limit you've got to be. She's not there yet. All right. She's going to be on the marketing team. She's going to be on the marketing team.
She's awesome, though. So, no, actually, she made me laugh when I spoke to her. Especially when we mentioned that we sponsored 2 teams. You sponsored one, I sponsored another one. She's like, well, that's not fair. And you're like, well, who do you want, your dad or Ed? So I want both of you guys.
Yeah, that's how she operates, too. She's all in. She goes... I don't really, in her brain, she's like, I don't really care about the game. I want both. They're both mine, so I'll take both. You guys can have 0. I'll have both.
You guys don't need any name on your sleeve.
No, that's her style, man.
It's awesome. So then yesterday what happened? This morning I got up, I was by myself. And I did the same thing. I'm like, you know what? Let's go 2 for 2.
Okay.
So I read, so I prayed, and I opened up the Bible, and it came to Zechariah 8, 1 through 10. And I start reading it, and that's when God's people went back to Jerusalem, and it was destroyed. And people are like, why are we here? And he's telling them, rebuild it, and I will take you out of scarcity into abundance.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, so he just gave me the answer.
Rebuild it.
Rebuild it. That's what he wants me to do.
Rebuilding.
It needs to get rebuilt, what we're talking about.
Yes, it does. I would totally agree. Okay. We're going to test this. Listen, Jesus and all his boys, I don't, come at me if you will. I'm not sure I have a Bible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your Christmas present.
I just go to a hotel and they're always there. I'm just kidding. I don't ever go to a hotel.
We always look for one in a hotel.
Okay, so what I'm going to need you to do tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to need you to open to a page and then just send me a screenshot or text me what page I'm looking at. I'm sure I can go look it up on the internet, and I'm going to see if it applies to where I'm at right now. We're going to test this thing.
Oh, you want me to pray for you? Oh, okay.
No, I don't need you to pray for me.
No, I have to.
Oh, okay. So then pray. Yeah,
because you have to.
Anybody else who wants to pray for me, we'll take all the prayers we can get right now.
That's the magic.
Okay, so I need you to pray for me then. And then find me the page, open to the page that follows the prayer, and send it over to me. I'm going to see if I can use it too.
So, do you know anything of the Bible?
I mean, I know that there's some characters in there. I'm waiting for the movie edition to come out.
Well, it's out. It's called The Chosen.
Okay. I'm like that. I'm like the guy that when the book's out, I'll wait for the movie version to come out.
Well, in the Old Testament,
I know some of it. So
in the Old Testament,
church stuff growing up.
In the Old Testament, you have the book of Job.
Job, okay.
So Job was a gentleman that the devil was like, "Hey, I'm going to try one of your people," and God was like, "All right, try Job. The only thing is you can't kill him. You can do whatever else you want to him, but you cannot kill him."
Poor Job.
So Job ended up losing everything.
Sure.
Family, livestock, his farm of food, everything. And then after his test was completed, because he never faltered on faith, he got tenfold of everything that he lost. Mm-hmm. God gave him tenfold because he stayed true to his faith and who God was. But one of the things that was funny was he, in the Bible, like right after that, God's telling other people that they need to be like Job, because even if they were pure of heart, he was going to smite them compared to what Job, right? And the only difference was in the whole thing was that Job, even though he was upset at God and like everything was going wrong, he prayed. He just prayed that he was pissed and that she wasn't going right. But he prayed. So but he continued his relationship with God. So that's why I say I have to pray, because that's part of it. Is you have to pray to ask what you're looking for it to happen, and then that's when it reveals to you what it should.
Okay.
I will do it tonight. It's funny because I end up reading it and then I highlight it, because then I know that was a particular chapter that helped me.
Well, hey, listen. I like it.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of starting a podcast with Brandon.
Really?
Yes.
What's the podcast going to be?
It's going to be a. We still have to work out all the details, but it's going to be.
Ed Brandon, our Road to Ranching?
No, not Road to Ranching. Actually, a generational understanding or discussion of the Bible.
Okay.
Like, what is his take, who's 21 years old, compared to my take, who's 53, on different verses and different things in the Bible?
Okay.
Because we look at things completely different.
Interessante. Many people do.
Many people do. So
And I think that comes down to, like how even our industry is with real estate, how people look at different scenarios. And I was talking about this the other day, is that you talked about relationships, and we talk about good, evil, family, faith, enemies, right? And I think in this industry, I think a lot of the agents that I talk to, even in the offices or out and about, I feel like they've missed that part, and everybody is so worried about what everybody else is doing. They always feel like it's me against every other agent. It's me against them. They get into a deal. It's like, okay, how can I get this agent? How can I, listen, there's no doubt, especially a fiduciary requirement is to represent our client to the best of our ability.
Correct.
Right? But there's nothing that says we have to make enemies with the other agent. There's nothing that says we can't have a relationship with them. And I have realized, over the last couple of transactions, you're both working towards the same goal. So it's like when you enter into a contract, when you enter into that and start working with the other agent, I think that communication is critical. I think that working together is critical, because you don't know when, how your relationship will help you when it comes to a request for repairs. What happens when one of you need an addendum? If you're untruthful, if you're fabricating stories, if you're being deceitful, I'm going to tell you no. Pound sand. I've asked you for a couple things. You've lied. You haven't given me proper information. Is this because they're trying to work against you to be this person? I think the more we work with people and trust our instincts and have faith in each other to do the right thing, I feel like those transactions are the ones that are smooth. I mean, we've had a couple lately where it's been they've been some of the smoother ones because we've been on the same page with agents, knowing that, listen, we're trying to do the best for our client. They're trying to do the best for their client. But at the end of the day, we're both trying to get the deal done, because that's ultimately both of our clients are looking for.
So speaking on relationships, right? And that's how you operate a lot more than I do.
Right.
I'm more transactional. You're more relationship based. But that goes to two closings we have coming up, right? Mm-hmm. We have one where both of them happen to be the same situation. They're both divorces and they have situations, right? But one, I was able to speak to both parties, and both parties understood where they stand. Yeah. And we can get them to where they go, right? Yeah. And it doesn't change the fact that some of the times I still get asked questions that I really don't want to have to answer, but I get asked the questions. And then other times we don't, but it's a relationship that they trust us to do it. So, and then we have the other one, which is the opposite. They both trust us. They both understand, but they don't trust each other.
Yes.
So no matter what we can do to help them understand that, hey, we're all here on the same page to help each other, it really doesn't do anything because we don't know what's going on.
Well, I think you nailed it. It's the trust level, right? It's trust in so many different levels. And like you said, we've talked to these clients multiple times, and they both expressed their gratitude for what we've done. They trust us, this is that. But because their trust has been broken between them two,
right,
it's it comes down to principles, and like they just it's like when like growing up, like when you're talking to your parents, and I used to do it to my dad all the time. It's like, see who can get the last word in, right? Right. And then it's like, I think my son tests me sometimes too, because I'm like, just stop, be quiet. But what? I said no more, right? Fine. No, that still counts. No more, right? I feel like that's how they are right now. Like it just is like they're just like fine.
You guys really do that?
Sometimes.
You and Braxton?
Yeah. I think he gets a kick out of it. I'm like, it ticks me off in the moment, but I'm like, I'm sure I did that to my dad too many a times, right?
Okay, fine, we'll stop. No, that counts.
Yes, like I said, no more words. Fine. No, what do we not understand about no more words? Okay, that is a word. But no buts. Like, right? Like, I walked to school uphill both ways in the snow to win this conversation.
In Arizona. And Southern California.
Oh.
Sorry.
Speaking of schools, I got to change gears on you.
Go.
I know you are a women's college basketball connoisseur.
Yes.
Connoisseur.
Yes.
Okay.
Go Page. UConn.
Yeah.
Huskies.
They just took down SC last night pretty handsomely.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is, I think, a topic for the society we're in. And I think this girl, I don't know. So here's the take, right? I'm just going to put it out there before I get too deep into it. The girl from Notre Dame,
yes,
who was projected from what I saw to be the second overall pick in the upcoming draft, has decided to forego the draft and enter the transfer portal instead.
Because she'll make more money.
That's a wild situation.
Well,
it got me thinking, like, that is wild. You are projected as the second overall pick in the WNBA.
Right.
But yet, you've probably had enough conversations. And I'm not saying, trust me, I'm not saying she's wrong here. I'm saying the bigger picture is where something has got to change, because it's more lucrative for these kids now to get in the transfer portal, to not be the second overall pick in the draft. Okay. But to go back to college, it's more lucrative for her.
Okay, that's in women's college basketball. Sure. That is not in men's college basketball.
Right.
That does not apply in men's football.
But no, look at some of these guys in football. They're entering the transfer all day. I mean, look, you got Carson Beck, who was going to come out. And granted, he wasn't going to be the second overall pick, and maybe not even a second rounder. I don't know.
I think he'd probably go down to a third rounder.
But still, the option to be drafted and go play. Well, it's like, it's not even like 2-3 years ago.
Do you know who his girlfriend is?
I do.
Do you know
ex-girlfriend?
Well, at the time when he went into the transfer portal.
Yes.
You know who his girlfriend was?
I do.
And do you know where she was?
Yes.
Yeah. And where
did the U, baby?
At the U. And where did he decide to go to?
Of course, the U.
If that was my girlfriend,
females have a lot of power. The funny thing is, I actually have a really good buddy who used to coach them. As,
the U?
No, the
twins.
When they were younger in basketball.
Oh, nice.
But you think about it. Okay, go back 5 years. No, go back 5 years.
Hold on, though. The problem is the WNBA makes $0 and 0 cents.
Agreed.
So they're paying them the max they can because they're already being subsidized by the NBA. So it is nobody's fault that they don't make enough money to pay their players anymore.
Yeah, how does that? And then you go back to, what was it, last year, the year before, where what's her name came out from? Who was it? The girl from Iowa. Yeah, what's her name? Caitlin Clark? I don't know. I told you I don't follow her now. Right, and everybody was getting pissed because she's this superstar, and you're selling out arenas. You're having to move complexes to get more involved. This is the reason why we need more female superstars to get into the league and embrace it more, to get the attendance up, to get the merchandise.
But the problem is.
Let's fix it right now. What is it? Let's fix it.
The problem is that people come into the league and instead of embracing. See, that's the difference. Because the NBA before Magic and Bird was just the NBA. Like, everything was tape delay. You saw West Coast stuff on the East Coast the next day. But when those two guys went on, they had battled through college. They were frenemies. They knew each other. They got along really well. But they knew that it was them again. And then they go to two historic franchises that just get to compete against each other in the finals all the time. And that just built up. When Caitlin Clark came out and Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark tried to play down her role, even though they were moving her games to men's arenas because they needed the extra seating, and they were still selling out. And the other one, Angel Reese, comes out saying, "Oh, I am the draw. I am the because it's a 3-letter word.
Ego.
Why didn't she come out and say, yes, this draft class is amazing. This draft class is bringing everything that we need. But no, it was all about me, 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 me. But then they don't like her, and it's because of this, and because I'm this, and because I'm that. No, it's people don't like your ego. Yeah. Caitlin Clark never has an ego. She's chill. She signs everybody's jersey. She takes the time. She talks to people. She's friendly. Now you don't have that. So the problem is you need to get more stars that are like that. Like this girl that transferred to TCU, Van Lith. Is TCU in the Final Four?
No,
they got beat yesterday, right?
Texas beat them, I think.
Yeah. I think if the Cavinder twins would have went there, like they originally were going to with her, they'd probably be in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. But they decided to go to Miami because there's more money in Miami and more recognition going to the U than it is going to TCU.
Well, didn't they, the first year they went to the U, didn't they make like the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something?
Yeah, they made the Elite 8.
Did they?
But then they left school to try WWE wrestling and try marketing and stuff like that. Realized that wasn't their thing, so went back to college because they still had eligibility. And when Van Lith went to TCU she went from Louisville to there. When the Cameron twins were going to go, I'm like, oh, that's a great hookup. They'll do well at TCU. But then she decided to go to U, and then her sister came back, and then the whole Carson Beck stuff. But I think if they would have tipped up, they'd probably still be in.
But see, and here again, it's like
because she's a Van Lith is a really good player.
So here's the problem, like in this, talking about like especially the women's dynamic of college and next level versus staying and transfer portal. It's almost like, I don't want to say 5 seconds of fame because that's not it, right? But it's like maybe the Cavinder twins, they saw that window. It's like, okay, here we go. Listen, we're in college. What happens after college basketball? Like my Braxton was even asking me, he's like, Dad, where do they go after like college softball? Because college softball's down a lot, and I love watching college softball. It's like, well, they started this league, Athletes Unlimited, this and that, but none of that stuff really catches on. So if you are like this girl from Notre Dame or the Cavinder twins, where you're like, hey, shoot, our popularity is high. Our brand is at its highest level. We're the most valuable right now. If I take it to the WNBA, they're probably not going to love my brand, like the way that we promote our brand going forward. Just like all the social media, like they're going to be like, hey, we need you focused here. But the money's not there. They're like, these days, I mean, you get.
I go back to college.
Yeah, you go back to college. You get, a couple $100,000 probably.
Like Carson Beck, he would have probably gone into the NFL at a league minimum or somewhere near there.
Right. As under a second, probably as a third string quarterback.
As a second or third string quarterback, probably make $1 million, $1.5 million. He made $4 million to go to U.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what they're saying is a lot of these. Which is funny because a lot of the college players back when I was watching football a ton growing up, everybody was always like, hey, I want to be one and done or two and done in football. In football, you had to be there 3 years. You can't leave until after your junior year. And Maurice Clarett, I think, was one that tried to get out, and then ended up in jail, and his whole life spiraled down after he couldn't get into the NFL. But when they do these things, right? But now you have players that are like, okay, according to which I think is super smart. According to my draft stock, I'm probably a 3rd or 4th round pick. Let me go to Iowa State. Hey, how much would you pay me to be here? Because I just left a D1 school. Hey, you know what? I'll pay you $2 million. Well, hell, I'm not gonna make that in the NFL.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, and that was my whole point. Is like some of these athletes now, you have to strike while the iron's hot, while your brand's the highest. Like, so for the Cavender twins to go try WWE or whatever it is, it's like, okay, well, your brand's at an all-time high. That's more conducive to like that influencer role. And if you can make a couple 100,000 or $1 million or $2 million, pick up these extra followers. I mean, they've got it, made. Whereas if they opt to go the professional route, it may not work the same. We don't know. You're a busted knee, torn ACL, a
Why are you talking about me?
Away. I saw you limping down the hallway today, bro. But you're all these things away from career being over. And nowadays, I mean, again, you see all these YouTube channels. I mean, that's all my kids watch is YouTube videos. Today, Beckham was watching, last year, the year before,
Skippity?
like, following
Max
Clark through high school and into, to his draft. And it's like, that's all they watch now. That's taken over TV, and
Rex.
There's so much money to be made there. I don't blame them for taking these opportunities, right?
Coach Rex from Savannah Bananas.
What's he doing?
He played in
college?
Coach
Rack?
Rack, yeah.
Yeah, Rack. Yeah.
He played in college. Didn't get an invitation to the pros. Started doing instructional videos on YouTube and TikTok, and now he got picked up by Savannah Bananas. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing, though. I think those athletes, I don't know how they're not in the NFL. How they're not in MLB, dude.
I've tried
those guys do crazy. Like, I can't see other regular players doing that.
I've tried to catch a couple balls like behind my back, and I'm just like wearing it in the ribs and stuff, and like it's wild. But here's okay.
How do they do like front flips and still throw you out of first?
I don't know. But here's the thing, dude. This is what I've always thought too. Okay, so you take guys like that, and you're just like, how did they not make it to the MLB? And the MLB is obviously, I mean, you've got 83 divisions before you get it to.
It's tradition.
You have 83 single A, double A, triple A's, rookie balls, high, lows before you even get to the MLB, right?
Right.
So I get the barriers to entry are very tough. But I've always wondered that about, like, you see these long drive contest guys for golf. I'm like, bro, if you can hit a golf ball 582 yards, how can we not figure out the rest of the game here? And why are we not making a run at the PGA Tour? And it's like the same thing, It's like, I don't get it. It baffles my mind. Like, you can figure out to do that, but we just can't figure out how to putt. Like what are we doing here? I feel like we could put in some work here and figure this out.
These guys, like, they do a whole dance routine, backflip, land on the mountain, then pitch it, and still an 80, 90 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah.
It's like, how?
And I think I watched a video on it the other day.
I think my shoulder would fall off.
They were comparing it to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
And they're 100%. Like, at what point does, the Harlem Globetrotters were huge, like I forgot, like growing up and stuff, and they kind of just ran out of steam.
Right.
And then everyone's like, okay, well, when did the Bananas fizzle out of steam? And, they were talking to the guy, Jesse, who owns them now, who bought them and stuff. And it's like their model is still different. They do all the stuff the Globetrotters did, but I think the mundane, like the Globetrotters are still going to win by 92. People are just going to get out of the way so they can do this backboard under the leg, 5-run deep line, spin around dunk. Like, it wasn't really... It's like an NBA All-Star game now. There's no competition, right? But what's great about the Banana Games is that there are some scripted events like the dancing and some stuff like that, but the actual gameplay is live. Right. It is completely unscripted. You can't just go do a slam dunk. Like, the guy's got to throw it. You still got to hit it. You can't just hit a home run on command. Right. And I think that's what still keeps everyone intrigued is because on any given night, you don't know what kind of play is going to happen. You don't know which team is going to win. And it's not just like a write-off of, like the Harlem Globetrotters playing all these random high school teams or whatever they were playing back in the day where you're just like, this is dumb.
Right.
So I think they're here to stay.
Are there any other teams besides...
Yeah, the Bananas.
Yeah,
they're getting up there. So they got the Party Animals, which started with them, and now they have like the firefighter team. Last year 2 years ago when they came or whatever it was when the Bananas were here, then they brought those Bananas and Party Animals. Then last year when they came back again, it was the Party Animals and the firefighters.
Not the Bananas.
So the Bananas weren't here last year. No.
Well, that's kind of they're draw.
But it was pretty cool. So the first year we went to the Bananas game. and I'm good at making a scene, right? So like the guy, like the handsome dude who was doing the rows. So we were only about 5 or 6 rows up on the first base side. So I put Brooklyn on my shoulders and I was standing up. So, and then like one of the kids that were with it had like a big banana thing. So he climbed into the seats and gave her the final rose at the stadium, which was pretty cool. Yeah, it was like on the Review Journal. We have the pictures of it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got to
never
take
showed you
pictures
that?
No.
Oh yeah. So she was like on the front page of the Review Journal, like on my shoulders, getting it. And then the next night, one of our good friends had the pool area. And so we were out in the pool area when the party animals won, and they ran out and jumped over. Like I got video of them like running right by me. They're trying to get up over the fence and jumping in the pool. That kind of stuff it's fun, man. It was a good experience.
They sold out a football stadium. Yeah.
Well, that's what Coach Rack said. I think one of his comments was like, "I always dreamed in playing in front of like a sold out crowd at Fenway." He's like, "Go figure, it's when I'm with the bananas that it actually happens, right?" But it's there, buddy.
All right, buddy. So it's going to be a good week. We got a lot of things going on. This is a busy week.
Busy week.
Crazy things. We got a team meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
We have other things that are in the works.
Yeah.
You're on chapter 4?
I am on Unit 4, yeah. Arizona.
Unit 4?
Unit 4 of the Arizona licensing exam.
There you go.
Arizona real estate coming to you soon.
Well, we're already there.
We're already there.
We're
That's
just going to
true.
hang your
We're
license
gonna add
there.
to it.
There you go. All right, brother. Have a good one. Have a good week. And we'll be back here. Well, I'll see you in a minute in the office. But we'll be back onto this thing next week.